Fellows, welcome back to the More Than Average Men podcast. I am your host, Michael Benton, and you are watching or listening to episode 19. All right, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it, man. Episode 19. We made it. We made it. I'm feeling good this week. You know, this is actually the second podcast that I've am recording in the same week. I actually just recorded the other one 2 days ago. So kudos to me. I got to get back in the habit of doing these things. I love doing the podcast. I love, honestly, not to be conceited or anything, but I love hearing my voice on the microphone. And you can replay it in your ears. It just sounds different. Excuse me. It just sounds pretty cool. Anyway, so yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about the title of today, to give you some insight, is getting familiar with discomfort. And if you guys haven't heard episode 18, controlling versus allowing, please, go check that out. Some of the stuff that I'm going to be diving in deeper in this particular episode, you can find in episode 18. But I thought I'd go a little bit deeper in this particular topic, more so around being uncomfortable. And I wanted to share kind of just in my journey where I'm at and kind of how being comfortable has really paralyzed me when it comes to, my potential growth in life in all facets. And so without further ado, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of backstory, but for the most part, I'll try and keep it to present day. But so anyway, my life has, for the most part, when it comes to the things that I can control, have been pretty comfortable, right? So I'm going to talk more on the facets of finances and work, because it's just an easy example, and hopefully you guys it's easy for you guys to follow along with. So, as far as work goes, I've always been able to hold on a job. I've always been able to earn money. That's never been really a problem for me. And so, I've always been comfortable in that sense where I know that I'm able to pay my bills. I know I'm able to pay my mortgage, my rent, my car, and have a little money left over, right? I've always just been comfortable. Well, because of that, I've been in that mindset and I've been in that kind of mode for so long. I'm 38 now. It's definitely hurt me, right? Because, now I'm in a position where, and I'll get to this here in a second, but now I've been forced to become uncomfortable, right? It wasn't a choice of mine. It's now okay, you didn't want to make that move, I'm gonna make it for you. And so, I've never previous to where I'm at right now, as far as mindset, when I was 23, 24, getting into the workforce after the military, I didn't really put two and together as far as how discomfort and comfortable, how they play within you reaching your goals and reaching the level that you want to be in life, right? I just figured, okay, I would get a job, and at some point I would get to where I want to get to, whether that was a financial status or whether that was a certain economic status or whatever the case may be, right? Title, I would get there at some point. I would just work my way there, and it would just come to me through working, through putting in effort and action. It would just come to me. And so, but I've realized I've always been a big vision person. I've always been a big dreamer. And so I can, there's a certain lifestyle that I want to have for myself and my family. And, but having that lifestyle, it's going to take more than just me being it's literally going to have to be more than just me being comfortable. I'm going to have to get out of being comfortable to achieve the things that I'm trying to achieve. And you see it all across, social media and the news and stuff, where you look at, big players, actors and ball players and comedians and so on and so forth, right? And these social media moguls and stuff like that, where they've had to put themselves in very uncomfortable positions to get to where they are. They have to make certain risks and sacrifices to get to where they are. And so that's why we always say only the 1% make it, because it's the 1% are the ones that are I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to learn this particular thing. It's going to be super hard, uncomfortable. It's going to be new territory for me. Never done it before. No experience. I'm scared out of my mind. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I believe that if I just keep pushing forward, I'm going to get where I want to get to. And it just, the honest truth is that majority of America they're not built like that. They're not wired like that. They have the capabilities. Everyone has the capability to do what the 1% do. and to be able to, to jump headfirst into being discomfort, or uncomfortable, but they choose not to because it's such a safe place. Like being comfortable is such like a warm, cozy, like, cold night and you're in your warm bed and you're snugged up. Like that's what comfort feels like. And it's certain, things are going to get done. Things are going to happen when there's comfort in your life. But that also, it paralyzes you, especially if you're someone like myself who wants more. I want more for myself, right? But I can't expect that to happen if I'm just coasting along life. I'm just coasting. I'm not really pushing myself. And so that brings me to this year, let go from my job in January, and which was 6 months into 2023. 6 months in, I knew that I didn't want to work that job. Like I knew that I was like mentally already checked out, and I was like, man, I want something else. I want to do something else. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life, blah, blah, blah. And so I was kind of putting those thoughts out there, but I had no intention of actually leaving the job. And so, I firmly believe, because I'm a spiritual believer, right? And so I firmly believe that obviously I'm noting these things in my journal. And so I believe the universe is listening, certainly paying attention. And they're like, okay, so, you want these things and this is the life you want. And, you have the potential to do that, but you can't seem to get yourself out of this doorway, this safety. Okay, you're laid off. Go and figure it out. And I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, yo, bro, like you could have eased me into it, something, you know what I mean? And so it was like, I just got kicked out. And I was like, okay, well, we're going to make you get uncomfortable. We're going to make you feel this discomfort, because this is what it's going to take for you, Michael, to get what you keep telling me that you want, right? And to be where it is that you want in life. Like you're going to have to get uncomfortable. And I would tell you, man, that is such a scary feeling. To be, to leave that safety net, to leave that doorway. That's a good analogy that I have. I'm sure I've probably shared this with you before, but I've always considered myself, if you think of inside the doorway, right? If you think of inside a door, that's comfort, that's the safety, that's the certainty, that's knowing that things are going to get done, things are going to get paid. You got money coming in every Friday, every other Friday, right? Blah, blah, blah. And then you have, you open the door and there's the door jamb, right? And so like you stick a foot out, and it's a little bit scary. And when you stick that foot out, it kind of represents like trying something new, right? Or like, trying to, I don't know, build a business or whatever, or going back to school, learning a new language, like whatever it is, just like, ooh, this is tough. Like this is a little scary. It doesn't feel right. I feel overwhelmed. It's, let me go back in the door, and you put your foot right back in the doorway and you close the door. And you just do that over and over and over and over and over again, because it's so comfortable. That's what you're used to. That's what you've trained your mind to think that way, right? And so you'll keep doing that. You'll open the door. You might even take one step outside the door to try it, right? To push yourself. But it's like, it's too much. It's too uncertain. So you go back in the doorway. And so that's the analogy that I use for myself, is like, I've gotten to the point where I open the door and the universe is like, get your ass out, and just kicked me out and closed the door and locked it. And now I have no way back in. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, I'm actually, it's like two part. Like I'm enjoying the discomfort that I'm feeling, because I do feel that I'm growing and learning new things. And I feel like I'm being herded into a path that I want to be on. And then I'm also still, that fear still sits there, right? That doubt, that uncertainty is still there. It doesn't go away. But I've learned for myself to tone that down, right? To tame those thoughts of the scary stuff and the fear and the doubt. And, am I going to make my mortgage today? And are they going to turn my lights off? And am I going to have enough food to put on my table for me and my son? And blah, 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 right? Like, is that going to work out? And I've learned to tame those thoughts, because again, for me, I put a lot of belief in my faith, and that's what I stand on. And so, I don't know how that is for you or whatever, but and also too, like past experiences. I've been in experiences where I've been laid off before, right? I've been unemployed for 3 or 4 months or whatever, and I've always bounced back. Like I've always, no matter the circumstances, whether it was jobs or relationships or whatever the case may be, I've always bounced back. I've always bounced back, and so I had to like keep throwing that in my head, like, dude, like you've been here before. Like this isn't nothing new. You've experienced either this particular same thing or you've experienced something similar in which you found yourself down and out, scared, uncertain, doubtful, and then time goes on and boom, you're back on top again, right? Or you're back to square one, or whatever the case may be. And so I know things are going to work out for me, and I do feel like if you believe that for yourself, it could work out for you too. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what your mentality is like, but hopefully, through this message, you're able to, have some type of semblance and understanding that if you are in a uncomfortable position and you do want more for yourself, then stay in that position. Ride that wave. You know what I'm saying? Ride that wave of uncomfortableness, right? And on the other side, right? We all hope and believe, right? On the other side is where you'll get the most reward. And so, I honestly do believe that we all get put in these positions, in which we have to, in which we're asked to make a change. When I say asked, I mean, think of like we've all been given signs in our lives, right? So whether it's a layoff, whether you get fired, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a medical diagnosis, right? Like you've been given signs. Let's talk about the divorce, right? You've been given signs over your marriage that you're leading to something disastrous, right? Whether it's infidelity, whether it's cheating, whether it's a trust issue, whether it's mental or physical abuse or emotional abuse, like whatever, like you've been given signs over time that you probably should make a change. Either you or the couple or something needs to change. But yet we've become so accustomed to the comfort, right? It's like we treat it like a little speed bump. It's like, oh, it's hard on that bump, but once we get over it, we're good. We'll just keep driving along, and then we'll hit another bump, and we'll be good. And eventually, you get to the point where that person or you or whatever is just like, I want a divorce, right? And then you're like, what? Like, where did that come from? And then it's like now you're forced to grow from that situation, right? Same thing with the medical diagnosis, right? If you go to your yearly checkups and you eat like crap or whatever, and the doctor's like, yo, all right, your high blood pressure is getting up there. Like it's climbing year over year. Like you need to change your diet, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, well, doctor's not saying that it's bad right now. So maybe I'll eat one piece of fruit a week or whatever. Or I'll go out to eat one less time a week or whatever. All right, you were asked to make a change when the doctor told you that your high blood pressure was changing or was going up. And then now you go into your next appointment, he's like, yo, you got full on diabetes, you got high blood pressure, you got high cholesterol, like you're at risk for a heart attack. And you're like, whoa, like where'd this come from, right? Like you were asked to make a change. And so I believe that we're all put in positions where it's like, okay, you don't want to make a change? Cool. I'll make the change for you. Now you have this. Now you're going to go through the divorce. Now you've been fired. Now you have cancer or you have a medical diagnosis of some sort. Like, so we've all seen the signs. We just chose to ignore them because we were so used and conditioned to the comfort. But I'm here to tell you, like, for me, like, I'm understanding now, or I'm really starting to get the idea that the only way out of feeling the discomfort is to go through it. Now, here's the thing that I want you guys to understand. The point of being discomfort and being uncomfortable is not to get back to being comfortable again. That doesn't make any sense. That would be like, an analogy of that would be like, if you're wanting to better your health, and let's say you want to start doing cold plunges or whatever, but you take a shower, you take a cold shower, but you only put one leg in, you keep the rest of your body out. Like, that is not going to work. Like, that's not the same thing. Like, you want to change, you want to better your chances of bettering your health or whatever that brings for you. Like, you got to go all the way in, bro. Like, head to toe. And you got to be there for a certain amount of time, right? Before those health benefits start to kick in. It's the same thing. So like you have to go through it. You cannot avoid it. And a lot of us, and me being, me being victim to this as well, where we use avoidance mechanisms, right? We try to suppress, voluntarily try to suppress the feelings or the thoughts we have, or things that are going on, and try to think of something else, right? We try to avoid those things, right? We also try to repress things, where it's like you do this unconsciously. You just ball everything up, put it down deep in your stomach, and you're hoping that it just goes away, but it doesn't. It doesn't. You actually are making the problem worse, because at some point it's going to explode, right? It's going to erupt. And so, we you can't just sneak by the issue. You have to run through it. So no matter how hard it feels for you, you have to acknowledge it, that you're facing it, that you're feeling this, and that you're going through this, and continue to pursue the wave and push through. There's a quote that I had found that says, growth and comfort can't ride on the same horse. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty true. I mean, it sounds true. It sounds good. But I do believe that, though, because again, you can't do it two at the same time. You can't be comfortable and then want to grow and learn new things. And if you tell me you can, maybe you can on a very slow, like, trail, like very slow. Like you're not gonna move the needle. It's not moving the needle when you're trying to when you're living comfortable, but you're trying to learn and grow. Like it just doesn't work. You're either all in or you're not, right? You're either all in, or you're not. And some of you guys will say, well, can I put myself in a position to where I can be comfortable and still grow? And it's like, no, you can't. Choose. You are either going to choose to be uncomfortable and really pursue whatever it is that you're trying to get to, and whatever that is for you, or you're just gonna be like, you know what, I really don't want that thing that bad. And so where I'm at right now, I'm cool with that. Like I things are paid for. My relationship is mediocre, but it's good. We still love each other. Like nothing's happening. Like we're good. Like let's just not, why change anything? And that's totally cool. Like if that's your mentality, I'm no fault coming from me, no judgment coming from me. You know what I mean? This is for you. If you're the type of person on this other side of this camera, and you're like, man, like I want more. Great, bro, sister, right? Like whoever is listening, like if you want more, great. But if you're not getting that growth and learning, then the answer is probably you're living too comfortably. You're too comfortable where you're at. There's nothing that's pushing you forward. Do you guys hear that? I don't know if you guys there's a plane, like a crop plane or something. Anyway, but yeah, so you got to push yourself. So listen, yeah, I've this last couple of months, man, I've just been I've been pushed to to get outside that doorway, as I told you guys before, and I've been pushed to get uncomfortable. And while it's been very scary and it's been uncertain, I'm actually enjoying the ride. It's almost like a thrill a little bit, right? Where it's like, ooh, okay, skated by this month. I was able to pay for everything. And I know I'm using finance. It's just an easy example, but I'm knowing I'm being able to pay for these things. I'm like, okay, well, what's next month going to look like? Obviously still taking action, still putting my ears to the grindstone and listening for opportunities and seeing where I can best serve and use my abilities and my skills. And if there's a job waiting for me, that I'll apply for it, whatever. Like whatever the case may be, whether it's a job or if it's an opportunity in which I can create my own revenue, my own income, I'm game for both, but I know I needed this push. I know without a shadow of a doubt, I needed this push to extend my growth, to extend myself, because I've been comfortable for so long, and that time is overdue. So there's a certain lifestyle that I want, that I wrote in my journal a couple of days ago, and I want it, man. I'm gonna get it. And this is the start. And again, while it wasn't my choice, I'm glad that it's happening. Because one or two things can come out of this, right? I can either continue to stay uncomfortable and see where it takes me and ride that wave, or I can make the ultimate choice and say, you know what, I don't I don't really like the feelings that I'm having is overweighing what I truly want to do. And so because of that, I'm gonna play it safe for the rest of my time that I'm on this planet. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go and find me a mediocre job, make enough just to where I can survive and put food on my table. And I'm just gonna, if something comes up, then it comes up. If not, whatever. But bruh, that's not me. That might be you. I can't do that. I can't do that. There's too much opportunity. There's too much abundance out there for me not to get what I want and where I want to go. And I hate to see myself in a lazy state. I hate to see myself in this mediocre state where it's just blah. Like, you have so much talent, bro, and you're gonna waste it because of your feelings, which are temporary, by the way, and you control your feelings, which is another whole topic. But you're gonna waste that time and that talent, and because it makes you feel crappy and it makes you feel scared and fearful. Nah, I'd rather take on that fear and that uncertainty any day. I'd rather have those conversations like, yo, your boy's out here hustling and grinding because the mortgage is due, and I'm down to my last $10. I got to figure it out, So, but that's just me. So anyway, a little longer than what I wanted to, but man, I hopefully my message that you guys take from this today, man, is just, if you do find yourself where you've always been comfortable and you do want to expand yourself, then it's time for you to push yourself out that door and lock it and don't ever walk back into it. You know what I mean? And continue to grow and trust yourself, believe in whatever faith you may have. And just, look back on your experiences and know that you've been through some things and you've worked them out. You've gotten through them. I don't know if they were as hard as what you're going through now, but there's some semblance there, right? You've gone through hard things. So it's not it's not to say that you can't succeed and rise above this as well. So, man, I wish you guys a beautiful day, a beautiful weekend. It's Thursday, and take some time to reflect, bro. Take some time to reflect on where you're at, where you're trying to go, and if you really do want to expand yourself, then you got to get a little bit uncomfortable, man. It's gonna suck. I'm telling you right now, firsthand, it sucks, but you can do it. So anyway, all right. Without further ado, I appreciate you guys, man. If you guys could, rate the show. If you're watching it on, if you're listening to it on a podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. I appreciate all your guys' support. Your boy will continue to put out videos. I'm getting inspired by the things that I'm doing and going through, and so hopefully, what I have going on with me, hopefully, resonates with you guys. And if you guys have content or topics that you want me to address that I have some experience in, please shoot me a message, a DM on Instagram. That's Michael_A_Benton, BENTON, or you can email me at bentoncoaching@gmail.com. And as always, I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, fellas.